Hey folks, well, training camp open today. Hurrah! We're back at it, and we've got some news for you. Some of it's breaking, some of it's coming, but you're going to hear it all right here on the OZone. You're in the offensive zone, your place for Leafs hockey. Hey folks, welcome to the OZone. That's Coach, that's KD, and I'm the Devo. We're here to talk all things Leafs. Look, remember folks, hit subscribe, ring the bell. You'll never miss any content. Also, share the video with others. It helps broaden the audience. And leave a comment. This helps more than anything else. We listen, we take your input seriously. It helps guide the content. Okay, folks, training camp. We're here. Tampa, distant memory. Hope springs eternal once again. Look, before we get started, I know KD, you're chomping at the bit to get after something here, and you want to congratulate someone. Go ahead.
Yeah, hey, this is to Brantford Bill. He and his, I guess it would be Southern Ontario rink. I'm not sure if they're all from Brantford, but they represented Ontario in the Canadian over 65 Canadian Curling Championships. Got a silver in a very close gold medal game. They lost to the local godless Kamloops team. But congratulations, fellas, and they gotta be the odds-on favorites for the over 70. Like I gotta figure they're the betting favorite. But nice work this year.
Yeah,
and,
as long as they stay healthy, right, Kev?
A couple pints and a few darts in to make it a good bonspiel.
Well done, Coach. What do you got?
Hey, as long as they stay healthy, they should have a good run. Right into the 70s. Awesome stuff. Injuries are always a problem at that level, fellas.
Yeah, it's true. All right, that's some nice stuff. Look, training camp opens. We got two guys out of the lineup that could miss some time. Liljegren, obviously working out too hard or something. Got himself dinged up. Engvall out, maybe not quite as long, but it's not ideal. Coach, what do you make of this, and is this a concern in any way, shape, or form?
Yeah, I think each are a little bit different, but hey, before I get started, I got to mention our sponsor, right, guys? Carbuzzi, 2048 Avenue Road. Jimmy put another piece of ad copy here. Hold on, I can't read that. He said this one's better, so let's give it a shot. Did the Tinder connect you with a convicted felon? Drown your sorrows with Nick at the Pickled Melon. Hey, that's pretty good. Nice work, Jimmy. All right. Hey, we got a shot of the Pickled Melon, right? Of course, that's the upstairs bar at Carbuzzi. And Nick says there's a special on for the next week. Any subscriber that goes in and finds a picture of KD or me on the wall, buy 10 wings, get one free. That's a pretty solid offer. Here's a picture and some hints for you guys as to where we might be on the wall.
Done.
Check the
Well done. Get that 11th wing, folks.
The 11th wing is like a baker's dozen of wings, except it's not a dozen and they're not baked. Other than that.
Speaking of wings,
hey, so look,
here, Coach.
Yeah, it's hard hitting. So Pierre Engvall being out, I don't think there's any problem at all with this. It may have been a problem for him earlier in his career because he was fighting to make the team. I think he's solid on the team. Him being out for a while actually may be a benefit, maybe a blessing in disguise because we got a lot of guys playing for sort of bottom six roles. This gives other guys more reps to see what you've got, and training camp could actually extend into the season for some of these guys while Engvall's banged up. However, Timothy Liljegren, this is a problem. Yeah. Not for Sandin, I know we're going to talk about that in a bit, but the problem is this. Guys, we've talked about this forever. It would be so much better if TJ Brodie didn't have to play with Riley, if he could play with Muzzin. But that means somebody's got to play with Riley. Training camp would have been a terrific way for Liljegren to audition for that spot. Now he can't. He's going to be out till mid to late October. He's going to be catching up. it really kind of means for the first little while he comes back, he's a third pair guy only. Now we got to put with that same problem we've been talking about, guys, for months on the right side in the top 4. It just gets exacerbated. So, hey, next man up, I get. But my goodness, hey guys, aren't we glad we didn't trade Justin Hall now?
Oh, absolutely.
You need D depth, and this is why.
Yeah, KD, what do you think?
Yeah. I mean, you'd like to see the young guys not get hurt. You know, I still consider Engvall a young guy, but I think Scotty's right on. I mean, he's middling, bottom 6 type. He can, maybe move up a bit. It would be interesting to see some of the young guys. Obviously, the wrong guy on D to get hurt, I think. I would have almost picked anyone to go down early first, just because the right side needs as much help, and then 2, you'd like to let the other, the left-hand side and maybe Sandin get in there if he does get signed. It is a sports hernia. I don't know how far down the groin it is, so it's potentially a much trickier injury than they call. 2 weeks. If you've ever had a sports hernia or like pulled or torn that groin, it can linger the whole year. So, they're going to have to be careful about rushing them back in, and they might need to rush them back in if they can't fill that right side.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see if this was, because we don't have a lot of detail on it, if this was something he did midsummer and he's still kind of rehabbing it, and they're not really interested in him bothering with training camp, just given where the lineup is right now. Listen, there's been a lot of speculation. I'm going to shift gears a little bit now to the other side of the D. Rasmus Sandin, obviously still an RFA unsigned. And how his situation confuses matters. Folks may have forgotten, but the Leafs finished their playoffs run with this lineup: Riley Lyubushkin, Muzzin Brody, and Giordano Hall. Sandin and Liljegren were both scratched for the last 4 games. At least Liljegren the last 4 games. Sandin didn't really play much at all in the playoffs. Obviously, Lyubushkin's gone. Now in Buffalo. Liljegren was penciled in for certainly a much bigger role to start the season. He's hurt. That makes Hall really the only right shot D on the team for those keeping score. He's the only one. And I know there's still people at home gritting their teeth going, no, we got to get rid of Hall. Unless something comes out of training camp that's an absolute miracle, he's the only true right D you have on the entire team. So on the left side you have Riley, Muzzin, Giordano, and obviously Sandin, assuming he signs. Where does he fit? Katie, make some sense of all of this.
We're in a worse position than we were when we talked about this a month ago. Like he doesn't fit unless he can play the right D, and I don't think he can. Like maybe he can, but I think that's a work in progress. If anything. If he could have played right D, he would have last year. Like there was a need for him last year to play there. So I think when you hear people on the radio and talking on TV and writing articles, they seem to think that you can plug and play on the D side on your off wing. Having a switch hitter like Brody is very uncommon, at least to play it at a high level. So I think they're really stuck. Like I don't know what they do. Here's a young guy you want. He's only played 88 games or something like that. You want to get him in the lineup to see where that arc is for his career. It looks like he was going pretty good before he got hurt. Now we're jam-packed on the left side. Liljegren only played 74 games in the NHL, and his trajectory was going nicely too. Now he's hurt. So we have our 2 young guys who you hope we're going to play lots of minutes this year, see where they fit in. We're shaping up now that neither of them's going to play opening day. It's really a quandary at the moment. Like I don't know what you do.
Yeah, it is something, and you hit the nail on the head there. People think that you can just plug and play guys. There's 1,000 articles in Leafland right now that say Liljegren's down. Now is the perfect time to make a push for Sandin. Sandin never worked out on any of the experiments they played him on the right side. You guys remember a captain that we used to have a few years ago. They brought over from Calgary, and they made him play on his off wing, and he was never the right fit in most of his stay in Toronto as well with Phaneuf. Anyways, Coach, what do you make of all this?
Hey, why you got to take this train to Negative Town with Deion Sandin? Come on, man. I'm in a good mood. So, look, here's what you don't do, okay? You don't overreact to this Liljegren injury and give up all the leverage and sign Sandin for more than you need to. We criticized Dubas heavily, still do, at the deals he gave Matthews, Marner, even Nylander, when he didn't have to. He had leverage. Of course he needed to sign those guys for big money. You did not need to give Mitch Marner $11 million. Like, he didn't have the leverage to go do that.
Yeah.
So we said he could have held firmer. Well, he has to hold firm here. So he needs to do the right thing. Sandin, for all the reasons you said, he's probably the fourth best lefty. If I'm him, I'm probably not in a rush to sign because this is a real prove-it year for me. And I don't really see a way that I'm going to play 82 games here if it's on the left side. But here's the challenge. Even if they sign him and there is an opportunity on the right side, he played one game there last year. It was dreadful. He played with Riley. There's no guarantee he can play the right side. And the only way you'd find that out is if he got a camp to work on it. Yeah. He should want to get in camp. He makes himself that much more valuable if he could do it. Let me show you a couple. This is why it's important. This is why not many people will do it. In your own end, when you're on your side, up the boards is on your backhand. But here's a look at Sandin at the point on the left side. He's a left shot. That puck gets rimmed around. You can shoot it. You're on your forehand. But here's a picture of him when he's on the right side at the point. He's on his backhand. And so you can't do much with that. It's a special skill to be able to play your offside. Riley tried it with Jake Gardiner, won't do it again. Jake Muzzin played in the Canadian Olympic team, won a Stanley Cup, won't do it. Giordano's 39. He's an old dog. He's not learning that new trick. Okay? TJ Brody can. Not many guys can do what TJ Brody does. He goes both ways. Kev, I can't remember. I don't think you've gone both ways since college. So, hey, you're trying to find yourself, right? So, but it's really hard to do. So you're right, Mike. All these articles about I just plug them in the right side. It's not going to happen. Yeah. It would be miraculous if it did. Having said that, depth is needed. Sign him. He's going to play. Muzzin's not going to play 82. Giordano's not. They'll be banged up.
Sure.
So you need depth.
It's funny you mentioned.
I think it's way too much to expect him to plug in on the right.
You mentioned, Coach, that he probably is the fourth best left D. He's actually with Brody in the mix. He might even be the fifth.
Yeah.
Which again, that doesn't help the right side at all, folks. Maybe he can get in with the camp. Maybe he can learn how to play. Maybe he's great on the right side. The experience we've seen notwithstanding, and if that's the case, we've got some serious solutions here. But from what we've seen, we've never seen it. We've never seen it work.
Tough for him to prove that when he's in Sweden right now as camp opens.
100%. He should be on a plane right now. Listen, folks, we're going to move on from this topic just for a sec. I want to get in. We're wrapping up we're starting into a new year. We want to get maybe some of our old tricks out of the bag here. And there's a little thing we like to call Where's Coach?
Okay, Where's Coach? Love this segment, guys. So, hey, last weekend, where Coach was in Atlanta, Georgia. So I'm helping our buddy, friend of the podcast, Ron Vogel, coach a 13-year-old youth hockey team here in Texas, Texas Tigers. We're in a 14U league, but we're all 13 years old. So we go into tournaments and play at our age level. We're not a AAA team, but we went in a AAA tournament in Atlanta, and lo and behold, take a look at this picture. We won the tournament. So winning a AAA tournament's a big, big deal for our club. Bunch of kids from Texas, right? But we've got bloodlines from a number of different countries. So we got a kid from Latvia, Latvian descent, Brazilian descent, a couple kids from Finnish descent. The guy on the left here, Simon, he's from Czech Republic. I think they call it Czechia now. So I go to him, first time I meet him, I say, hey, I'm a big Leaf fan. You know who Thomas Caberlet is? Check, right? He goes, yeah, I was at his house 2 weeks ago. He's actually somehow related to this guy. It's awesome. So
Wow.
there's a Leaf reference. And then
Let's get him on the pod.
I know, we got to get him on the pod. Absolutely. So they're closer with his brother František, as you may recall, right? He played for Carolina. See the banner, and there's the old coach there in the back, right in the middle. The kid in front of me with the blonde hair, his name's Easton Margetti. And in the final, we won 5-2. He had 4 goals. Big game. Now, here's the last Leaf reference. His dad is this guy, Donnie Margetti. So he played for London Knights, big junior career, about a 12-year pro career from Niagara Falls. Big Leaf fan, too. He lives in Odessa, about 5.5 hours from Dallas, but he coaches a girls' team that's based in Dallas. Every weekend, drives 5.5 hours each way to come coach for the weekend. What a guy. What a beauty he is. Big Leaf fan, too. So there's a shout-out to Donnie. Anyway, hey, youth hockey is alive and well in Texas, guys.
Nice.
Fantastic. Well, listen, there you have it, folks. We got some news that's going to start breaking pretty soon because camp's open, and we're excited about that. We're going to be bringing you the news pretty much in real time because we're going to be back a little bit more often. We're going to be over here bringing you everything you need to know about your buds, and we're going to bring it right here on the Ozone.